Hey everybody, Mr. Eric here. Welcome back. And this is a little weird because I just released another video with the Jotunheim 2 and the Lake People G111 and the IE Magni, and that was kind of a little shootout that I did because I was looking for and kind of trying out some super clean headphone amps, and those were the ones I happened to get because they've all been recommended and people like them and things like that. But the one that I really wanted, and the one that kind of like was on my list but was just a little too expensive for me, was the Singxer SA-1. So you see though, now that I have it, which I purchased it and received it after I had actually finished that review, but now that I did get a really good deal on this, so I went ahead and bought one, and it's amazing. And it's, I do believe, superior to those other amps, which is why I wanted to do this review quickly, because I don't want people to feel, like I'm like trying to sell one amp and then I get another one, I'm trying to sell that. Honestly, like, I don't have affiliate links to like either of those other amps, so like I wasn't trying to push them or sell them or anything like that. That's not really what I do. The link for this Singxer will be the Amazon link down below, so it is affiliate if you want to help out the channel. But I'm not shilling here. I'm just in love with this thing. So let's dig into it, and I'll tell you why I like it so much. All right, so as usual, we'll start with kind of build and I/O here. You got everything. You really got everything that you'd want, I think, in this amplifier. So you've got a nice big smooth volume knob. You've got 4-pin balance, you got 4.4 balance, and you got 1/4 inch single ended. Over here you got high Z, low Z. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. We've got this is just your input selector, XLR, RCA, and then you've got, do you want to use it as a headphone amp or a preamp, or do you want to shut it off? So this is kind of cool because you've got a volume switch on the front. So you got that volume switch there, but then if you flip it around on the back, you've also got a power switch on the back. So I think this is pretty cool because you can, leave it on the back, and then you can just use the front, and that makes it simple and easy to do. You got balanced in, single-ended in, balance out, single-ended out. So all that stuff is good, cool. You got the regular kind of PC power cable, which is what I prefer, because then you can get replacement cables and just, I don't know. If you're a nerd like me, you got tons of those lying around. So I like just using those nice big cables, having the transformer in here, not dealing with big like wall bricks and things like that. On the bottom, you've got these different like high gain, low gain switches, which is a little strange. And there's different ones. The thing to know about those gain switches on the bottom is just to be in high gain or low gain, you should move all the switches to one side or the other. So they should either all be on low gain or all on high gain. So I have mainly been using it all on high gain myself. Okay, so the high Z and the low Z, those are like high impedance, low impedance mode. I mainly just been using it in low impedance mode. It does change the sound a little bit, but I didn't play with it like a whole heck of a lot. So I might have to do a follow-up and talk about that a little bit more. So yeah, that's the I/O. You got a lot of options there. Pretty much anything I would need. I can't imagine what else anybody would want, but I don't know, maybe there's a special application. But having a couple different inputs, a couple different outputs means that you can hook up different DACs, amps, things like that to this, speakers, powered speakers, all sorts of stuff. So I would think, like, for a desktop solution that you want to use to control kind of everything, this should work pretty good for that application. Build is good. I mean, it feels nice. It's not, I mean, it's I wouldn't say it like blows me away by any means, the build of it, but it feels, I mean, it feels sturdy. It feels fine. It's not like as heavy as like the Jotunheim 2 was. But I mean, it feels well built. I don't really have any complaints about that. So yeah, build is good. It's nice. It's got plenty of I/O. All good on those fronts. So let's talk sound, and of course this is, the build is great, whatever. But like, it's the sound that really made me love this amplifier. And I can tell you, like, if you watch that other video, like with the Jotunheim 2 and the G111 and the IE Magni, like, and you probably should if you really want the context for this, but like, I thought all of those amps were pretty darn similar, honestly. And I did think that, the Jotunheim 2 was better than the IE Magni and the G111 was better than the IE Magni. But like, the IE Magni is still like a really clean, like, crisp amplifier, which is what those other two amplifiers are too. These are all these amps are like super clean, well measuring amps and things like that, which I don't pay too much attention to measurements, but just like, if that's what you're going for, they all fit in that category, right? But like I said, the Jotunheim 2 and the G111, like, I didn't feel like they were that far past what the IE Magni could do. And, I was kind of debating in that video still, like, even which one I was going to keep. And a lot of that has to do with this guy right here. So these are the Hi-Fi Man HE6 V2. And, those are the most expensive headphones I've got right now. And, they're hard to drive. They're notoriously hard to drive. And I'm wanting to get the most out of them, right? So that's kind of what's going in through my head in all this. And just on both the G111 and the Jotunheim 2, like, I don't know. I was back and forth on them. Like, I'm like, are they really that good? Because I see people just gushing about them online, but they're talking about using speaker amps and all this stuff with them. So I was on the fence, right, with whether to keep the G111 or just keep the IE Magni, because I didn't know if either of them was really driving the HE6. And then the Jotunheim 2, like, I don't know, it had like this slight over sharpened sound to it, I thought. So it wasn't quite for me. Ultimately, I thought the G111 was just like a little more refined and nuanced. I'm not gonna get too into the weeds on that. Just, if you want to go check that out, go check that out. So anyway, long story short, I thought they were all very close. And, I was struggling to kind of like decide which one I liked better. And, was the G111 and the Jotunheim 2, were they worth, 3 times the IE Magni? I don't know, and I still don't really know, to be honest with you. I was going to keep the G111, but then I was able to pick this guy up for $400, which it retails for $6. So 400 was like, I jumped on it. And I know it's expensive for an amplifier, but like, I don't know, there's just something about this amp drew me to it, like, I wanted to try it. I've heard people saying good things. And boy, am I glad I pulled that trigger, because like, instantly when I listened to this thing, I was like, oh man, like, this is better than the G111. Like, I was like, this is clearly better. So it resolves completely. Like, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I can't imagine what something resolving more than this would sound like. And then, so on the HE6, which I was going back and forth, like, is it that good? I don't know, whatever. As soon as I listened to it on the Singxer, I was like, okay, now I know. Like, now I understand, like, what hi-fi is, I mean, is truly, like, I don't want to overstate it, like it was, like, it's night and day difference and things like that. I mean, it's still close, but I mean, I feel like now I understand. Like, now I know to have because my system right now is Bifrost 2 to the Singxer to the HE6 SEV2. And so those are all pretty expensive pieces of gear, but I think now that I've got them and I've heard it, it is another level. And that's not an exaggeration. I'm not trying to sell you anything. If you don't have the budget for it, I totally understand, and you can get most of the way there with much, much cheaper gear. But wow, I mean, when you hear a setup like this, it is like, wow, I'm just listening and I'm just going, I hear everything, and I hear it. It's all clear. I can pick everything out. it's all, I hear the distant, like everything that's far away sounds far away. Everything that's close sounds close. I can hear all the notes like full. I can hear the beginning. I can hear the end. I can hear the harmonics. Um, I can hear breaths. I can hear things getting kicked in the studio. I can hear, like, I can just hear it all. And it's not harsh. It's not, too much. It's not pushed on me. It's not, it's just there, and I'm just like in it, and I'm just like, holy crap. Like, I just sit here and I'm in awe listening to it, is what it's been like. So I've only had all these things together for like a few days, all right? But man, it is next level stuff, and I just can't get enough of it. Like, I'm totally addicted to it. And I wanted to make this video quick because I wanted to put it out there. So again, I just want to be upfront, and it's a little weird when you've like already filmed a review and then you get something new and you haven't released that review yet, and now I'm like, oh, but this is better. So I'm gonna release this the same, basically right after I release that other video, and that's why it's a little weird right now. But yeah, the Singxer, man, it is wide. It is dynamic, which means things are soft, things get loud. I can hear the room. I can hear little note decays in the distance. I can hear, the bass impact is on, and mostly I'm talking about with the HE6 here, because that's what I've done most of my listening with. But I mean, it sounds good on everything, but everything that I've tried on it. But like the sub bass is like, this is the first time with this combination, is the first time I've been like, oh, like this is why people like sub bass. Like it just adds like another dimension to the music when you get like those sub bass rumbles. And I don't know, it's kind of like the opposite of like air that people hear up here. Instead, it's like rumble that you just it's kind of like just present and all encompassing, and like, man, it just is awesome. And then the punch, like it's got punch. The timbre is just, it's tack sharp but natural, which is, I feel like oftentimes it's kind of like, well, you either want warm and kind of natural sounding, or you want clinical and like fast, and it's like this does both. It's both. And then just, I mean, the upper end of things is like the amount of detail and resolution is amazing, but it's like, it's never harsh. Unless, I mean, of course you're going to have recordings that are harsh and stuff still, but like with this, it resolves so much that I'm just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, it's a little poorly recorded, but like, it doesn't even bother me, because I'm just like, I know that I'm just hearing it. I'm like, I don't blame anything for it. I'm just like, yeah, that's just the song. And that's kind of like, as far as I know, these are like audio buzzwords, like audiophile buzzwords, but like transparent, natural, clean, fast, like all of those things, this is all happening at the same time. And I feel like to get all of that together is just, wow, it's special. And yeah, I love it. I love it. I totally love it. And I think if you have the budget, I think any of these pieces of gear that I mentioned are totally worth the money. The Singxer is a phenomenal amp. I totally recommend it. The Bifrost 2 is a phenomenal DAC. I totally recommend it. The HE6, I don't know if I totally recommend the HE6, because I do feel like you kind of need all of it to make that thing work. And so, I mean, I feel like you can get a lot of the way there with lesser headphones on lesser gear, but like with the HE6, that's really been the first headphone that I'm like, you need a special like DAC and a special amp to really make that thing shine. And I think it's worth it. And I think I'm probably going to end up keeping all this stuff, to be honest with you. Like, and that's something that I'm like gripping with as somebody who's usually been value oriented, is having like several pieces of expensive gear. But like, it's just, I get it. Like, now I get it. And yeah, I mean, can you get really awesome sound from less stuff? absolutely. Like, I got the OG Nighthawks over here. I still love those. They sound great on almost anything. I got my Edition XX sitting right back there. And again, that headphone I liked better than the HE6 on everything but this setup right here. So it's like, I mean, it's all about pairings and matching stuff up and things like that. But like, man, if you can get high level gear stuff and you get it all clicking together, like, whew, boy, you are in for a treat and a ride. And yeah, I would totally recommend these things. And it's a super fun listen. And I kind of feel like I've made it, you know, like I've just been listening to this the last few days, and I just sitting here and I'm just sitting here listening, and I'm going like, I've done it. Like, I've put together the kit, I've put together the system, you know, and that's a special feeling for me, obviously, like you can probably tell. So the Singxer, this is mainly about the Singxer, right, is what this video is supposed to be about. I will still do a more in-depth review on the HE6. That will be coming, and I'll be playing around with that more. And I also like check out those other reviews and like the Bifrost DAC. I did like a DAC comparison with the Bifrost too, if you want to check that out as well. Just wanted to keep you in the loop. You know, thank you for stopping by the channel. Feel free to ask questions. I'm happy to, you know, talk through any of this stuff. And, you know, definitely consider subscribing if you're into more headphone gear and things like that. And yeah, appreciate your time. So hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to get back to listen to some music. So thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.